Well, I'm not going to play silver cheerleader, but today's a bad day for silver. But I'm going to go right back to my original premise that at the end of 2012, silver's going to finish out strong, and into very early 2013. This is what I'm expecting, but I don't have like a rigid cement block mind where I'm going to have to go by this, because I realize that what I think is going to happen in the blueprint of my mind may not occur. But if silver's way the hell up, copper's up, and all these metals are up, I'm probably going to sell a good portion of my brokerage accounts in early 2013, because the recognition of any of those gains will not have to be recognized in 2012 tax year. That's my strategy. Now, I want to get on to something else, because I think a lot of people have tunnel vision, and I want people to be more flexible in their investments, especially the middle class. This isn't just playing games with, I don't want to knock the charts and stuff like that, but I realize a lot of times the average person looking at these investors on, these investment advisors on YouTube that are, showing the charts, and I got some people I think are very good, but I think some people are very piss poor. They're not really, they're really kind of looking at it for like a casual way, and it's like, they figure eventually silver will go up, so they're just kind of looking at this like it's a game, They're not really into selling the silver right now anyway, so they're just looking at these charts going up and down. I'm going to tell you some more practical things. I want to get to this right now. But before I do, yeah, I know, silver went down 2.3%, 78 cents today, October 15th, Monday, 2012, and yet the Dow went up 95 points. I think the Dow is being pumped up for the election, to tell you the truth. The news on the metals, and I'm assuming the copper went down. A lot of metals probably went down in commodities. It's because of bad news out of China. But, hey, for you average middle-class guys, I'm going to tell you some other investments. You might be noticed on some of my older videos here, more recent ones. I'm building some stuff with some lumber. I'm getting some concrete, and I'm doing that. You know what I consider that? Investment, especially pressure-treated lumber. Now, another thing that has been very high on my list before I even got into, and I always had silver and some gold and all that crap, always did, from like, I don't know, decades, right? But what was always really high on my list that I know would be one of the most important things around in a real catastrophe that can actually function as a type of currency is ammunition. And I ain't trading no guns. I'm talking ammunition. I'm an expert reloader. I haven't been doing that for a number of years because I don't really need to. But, I've reloaded to 5.56. I'm talking about, this is something you're not going to get from the other silver channels. It's like invest in lead, copper-clad lead. And I'm going to tell you some other investments out there for you average middle-class guys, because I was critical of these guys like, and I don't know, should I mention them again? Because when I mention them again, people seem to get mad at me, but I don't want to mention it again because I'm not. But you're looking at a lot of these larger, more popular silver channels, and they're just telling you all about silver and Ben Bernanke. Yeah, that's great. What the hell are they doing? They're just, I could play that angle too. I'm not giving you a straight scoop. On my list, number one is guns and ammo. Guns and ammo. You should consider that as an alternative investment to silver. If you're out there for investment purposes, you see a deal on ammo, buy it. Even if you don't have that gun, you could sell it. You could sell it. You know how much ammo is appreciated in the last 10 years? A hell of a lot. A hell of a lot. Are you going to see any, I'll call him a dork, any dork from any one of these brokerage houses, investment advisors going to tell you to buy physical guns and ammo? They might say, well, let's get onto your portfolio. That's what they'll do. And that's exactly what you'll get from, I'll mention it, the SGT Bull, the Chris Duane, the freaking BJF, all those. There's a whole pile of them. They disgust me. That's why I'm on here. All right? They disgust me, to tell you the truth, because I think they're just making a lot of fiat toilet paper, giving people bad information. If they were all, if those experts were actually working for I'll give you. I'm gonna before I get onto this list, I'm gonna digress because I'm gonna bring some reality to some of the stuff about the investment world. They have a guy, for instance, that used to work for used to be a broker, and he'd have all these clients. And maybe this is a true story too. The guy actually hooked up with one client. He's got a load of money, so he pays him enough money, this one client, to manage his money. To manage his money. Now, guess what? If you screw up, guess what? Not only will you get fired, you probably get sued for freaking telling a guy a bunch of crap that lost him money. Could you imagine, like, Donnie with the trade show, or BJF, or SGT, or Chris Duane, or any of those clowns working for somebody like that? No, they make money off of YouTube. They're selling to you guys. And, you know, this isn't really, for the most part, people on YouTube aren't the people that have the money to go to these big high-dollar people that are professional boutique, you know, money market accounts, not money market accounts, but brokerage houses where they custom tailor your portfolio and your strategy. It's a bunch of bullshit anyway. Actually, these retards, if they just bought gold a few years ago, 100%, they'd be way up. But anyway. Number one, I'll say, is guns and ammo. That's been appreciating a lot. And actually, if you look at that stock, Ruger Firearms, that thing's been doing pretty damn good. I mean, it had a pullback in 2012, and now it's tracing back up again. Agricultural land, anything you can grow on. If you got property, I got property. I can grow, 100 by, there's plenty of crap. I mean, it's not acres, but it's plenty to make huge-ass garden. That's important. Now, for me, I say pressure-treated lumber because when you stain this stuff up, you put some good coating on it so it doesn't warp. It's good forever. It's good forever. That's a very good material. I also want to point out, this is a side note, a lot of people don't notice, but you can't get this at Lowe's or you can't get it at Home Depot. They actually have lumber out there that's a fire-retardant lumber. And actually what it is the stuff that's in it that keeps it from rotting, and the insects that get at it, they put it in a much higher concentration, and it actually gives it a fire retardant level of protection against fire spread, like it's class 2 or something. The reason they don't use this in construction a lot is because pressure treated lumber warps. So, it doesn't say straight, but otherwise it's a beautiful construction material. I'd say that's a good investment. If you got some good discounts out there, buy some up. Somebody's selling some on Craigslist. Somebody's selling cement blocks, building materials on Craigslist. Make an investment. You got money there. Another thing is booze, liquor, wine, and beer. Now, if you got agricultural land, you might know how to make your own booze. Maybe your own alcohol for fuel for cars. So, we can go right back to old school all the way. And guess what? It wouldn't matter what the hell the money is. Wouldn't matter, would it? Another thing, I'm not into this, but I realized this probably should be a major product, weed, for marijuana, for medicinal purposes. There's a lot of states out there like California where this is allowed to be grown. If you can get yourself on the list as one of those medicinal victims, this would be a readily tradable type of thing because as the medical system falls apart, we all know that medical marijuana oil pretty much cures every damn thing out there practically. So, and another thing which is bad for your health, last on the list, but seems to be more addictive than even the hard drugs, is cigarettes. And I'll put a little side note about cigarettes. There's a thing out there I mentioned on one of my other videos. If you look for it, it's called the BT7 BioTuner. Right? It's an electronic device that it will put like the shaman frequency through your head, which is like the Schumann Earth frequency, the same thing. Relaxation mode helps you with withdrawal symptoms. For rehab clinics, it has a 95 or over 90% success rate with heroin and cocaine getting rehabilitated. With cigarettes, it's got less than a 40%. So this is one reason that stuff is going to be around even in times of complete economic turmoil. It's like the anointed companies on the top that are legal have been allowed to push cigarettes, highly, highly addictive. and people will do, and I don't know, they'll trade. It'll be worth more than having the same equivalent in money in cash. If the kids' cigarettes are in short supply, that's going to be a great money supply. As a matter of fact, cigarettes worked for money in a lot of different collapsed economies. That might be one of your best ones. Weed is pretty dangerous to do. If this stuff was legal, weed, considering that it could be used for medicinal purposes, where cigarettes is a bunch of bad stuff all the way. I don't smoke weed, so I'm coming at it from a person who doesn't smoke weed. But weed will actually probably be one of your better things out there. I'm actually all for that. I don't smoke it. I don't want to get involved with it because it's illegal. But I realize it's probably one of your best things on this list. If you can grow it in agricultural land, you're fine. You're fine. That's the solution to most of our problems. So I want people to think outside the box, and I'm going to tell you again. At the end of the year, typically, commodities and oil is a commodity, of course, they all go up. There's a big push at the end of the year. I think there's going to be a big spring back even after the election occurs. And even today, I don't even know what's going to happen tomorrow. This stuff may not go down considering the Dow is up and all this kind of garbage. You're not going to see the metals all crash extremely hard, and they're going to bring the markets up at the same time. They're not going to go down that much. I'm almost certain of that. It's just like a God-given principle. If you're going to have a crash in the metals that's really hard, like silver going to 27 or 28 or something like that, you're going to have to see the Dow and crash too, and the S&P. It's like they all go together. Otherwise, I'd have to go along with serious manipulation, but that's very temporary. It's only bad news if you're in on leverage, which I'm not. I'm in on leverage on oil, waiting for Iran to blow up. But that's the only one I'm on leverage with. So in a short run, I want people not just to buy silver. Don't just buy silver. Buy booze. I mean, if you're going to buy stuff, even buy wine that, if you keep it longer, it's worth more. That type of stuff. Spread out your investments. You don't have to be all in on silver. That's one of my major problems with some of these silver gurus out there, because they act like silver is the only damn thing in the world. I'd imagine, like, if you had a couple packs of cigarettes, somebody was a really hardcore smoker and your hands were shaking, they'd probably give up an ounce of silver no matter what the hell it costs for a couple packs of cigarettes. So you play whatever way you want to play. So I'm giving you solid advice. But actually what's number one on my list was guns and ammo. And look at the appreciation rate of ammunition. What it's happened over the last several years or few years. It's done a hell of a lot better than silver, actually, hasn't it? So if you know how to reload, I don't know, maybe I'll make some videos on it. I know how to reload I know how to reload 9mm, 38, 357, 44 Magnum, 30-06, 308. Tell else, of course, the 5.56. I don't know, there's a bunch of other ones. But hey, I know how to do all that stuff. So it's not that expensive, and there's tricks on how to do that too. Maybe I'll produce some videos on that, because if you can get a hold of some brass, and I used to get brass off the military ranges, which is like one reason I like using the 5.56 and the 9mm and the 308, because there was tons of that stuff around, and you can reload them several times. So you could take some raw material and actually make it into a finished product that's worth a hell of a lot more, and use that as a physical storage of wealth. Actually some of the stuff maybe you've got, if we're reloaded for 20 cents a round, maybe they're worth $1 a round today. I'm just giving some hypothetical example, but that's reasonably ballpark. So don't just think about silver. Don't just think about silver. And having a little picture of a coin with with the snake on it, and "Don't tread on me," or having a nice 308 Winchester round. I'd rather take the 308 Winchester round any day. One carries a lot more oomph than the other. That's in my opinion. So, one's just a bunch. Silver's got its use, but you got to think about what you use on a daily basis. That's what you want to invest in. And the things I listed, even the building materials, cement blocks, pressure-treated lumber that's coated with stain, a heavy good, 15-year solid stain. You can leave that out in the weather. It's not going to even get it warped or affected. It'll stay like that for years and years and years, way beyond whatever the supposed economic crash is going to be. So that's my advice to people in the middle class. And I don't know. Maybe I'm going to throw one up here with a bunch of charts and crap like that with resistance points. But I'm going to tell you right now, I think silver's actually going to finish out very strong. Chinese data is going to flip around. The election's going to change things. Wall Street's going to be happy that Romney won, and things are going to move up. What I am very uncertain about is what's going to happen during the fiscal cliff. On one side, I keep thinking gold is going to go up a lot during the fiscal cliff because of the calamity with the U.S. dollar. And that could pull up silver. On the other side, I'm thinking is the fiscal cliff is actually going to affect the markets. And it could pull things back. But what I'm going to do is, and this seems to work, and I should act upon this more instead of just talking about it, is when I see the mood of the silver bloggers, all the guys I mentioned plus more, they start getting ecstatic, like everything's going up. Sell some. I mean, brokerage accounts. Go sell some. Oh yeah, Bern Bernanke's an idiot. Oh, he's just stupid. Now look how far silver's going. And look how much gains we had in the last 2 weeks. And that's when you sell some. Whenever those guys get all ecstatic, sell. When they're in the dumps and they're saying the conspiracy's causing all the problems with the silver pullback, then you buy it back. You do the opposite of what they tell you. And actually, you could probably make money on brokerage accounts. That's what I'm going to do in the future.